Hey guys, I'm Tim Langston with Red Dog Bushcraft, and today I'm out in the training area and I'm setting up a test. What I want to find out is if we use strings to determine the amount of fire we need to burn these strings, at what level do I need to set the strings to equal the amount of time and fire it would take to boil 1 quart of water. So I've got a string set up just above the height of the 1 quart stainless steel bottle. A string at a hand span higher than that with a total of 4 strings. I have the amount of material that would fit in a 55-gallon drum liner. It's what our students use to collect their materials. I'm going to arrange a fire lay here and we're going to have this test. It rained yesterday morning. It has rained on and off today. There's a threat of rain coming in. The front's coming, so the wind's blowing, and a lot of my fire is blowing sideways. So this should be a good determination, no matter what the wind does, at what flame amount we need to both boil that water, and we'll find out at what level we are able to burn our strings. So I'll reposition the camera and I'll let you watch me as I process up this material and explain what it is. Stand by, we'll get started. So the materials used is we've got some small weeds that were gathered, 1 piece of flash tinder, and 1 handful of some taller weed stock material, and 3 bunches of fine sticks, all smalls, that were gathered off of the lower dead limbs of pine trees. So without prepping the ground at all, I'll go ahead and do the lay and we'll start our test. Okay, I've conducted this test before, but just to let you know, there are no hot embers left in that. And let's go ahead and put 1 quart of just water. I had my drinking bottle here, so it's not ice cold, it's just at the temperatures we have that we're dealing with today. And of course we concentrate on collecting smalls, so I'm going to process down some of that and get that built up around my bottle. Fire likes chaos, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time arranging this stuff. Just going to put my tops right here at the top where I plan on doing my light. And that was 1 bunch of material, as much as I could hold in my hands clasped together. Weed tops at the top, spread that around the bottle. And we'll use up this last little bit. I don't think that bottom string's going to last very long. And then we'll get that in there. I got another one, we'll throw that off to the side. And staying with the smalls, we have some wood that was collected off of those smaller limbs on the bottoms of the pines. Just going to start stacking that up, getting those up there. Then we've got some stuff that's a little bit larger. This is more pencil size mostly. It has some different stuff mixed in it. It's just what I could grab quickly. Like I said, that rain is coming in, and my goal is to be realistic with the expectations of what the students are going to have to deal with, because you know how it is whenever you have class, the bad weather is going to roll in, especially when you get ready to do your fire test. Now I've got 4 sticks over here that were just hung up in the trees that I'm going to use as my fuel wood, and everything was collected by hand, and nothing has to be processed with anything but your hands. Like I said, this is just stuff that was hung up in the trees there. I'll make sure I don't press my strings down, although I'm covering the one that's at bottle height. But that's okay. Not any fancy stacks or anything going on here. Just trying to get the material on the lay, just like if we were in an emergency situation and needing to get a fire going. My goal is to just let this camera run. If this doesn't interest you, you can always just fast forward through the boil test. I understand that. I have a little bit of bark here that I've processed a little bit, not a whole lot, just enough to give me a little bit of duration. But it's really just to hold my flash tinder right there where I plan on doing my strike. All of this little stuff I'll just throw on there. Break this stuff up really quick. Get it built up. Trying to leave me a little bit of a window there so I can get a decent light. And just know that we're going to have to manage this a little bit. So that's all I'm going to do right now. They're going to be using the Light My Fire knife with this little small ferric CM rod. I'm going to do the same. Okay, we got a light in the flash tinder. Just put that away. Stick it down in my shirt. Kind of turn that over a little bit. Let that get down into some of those weed tops. Just push that in there a little bit. Take some of this, pull it forward. Get some of that fuel over top of that tinder. And we're just going to let that sit there and eat. And we'll take any stuff that falls out and just pile it around there a little bit. And we'll find out at what point we have boilage on our container and when we start burning strings. And get some of this stuff picked up while that fire gathers up a little bit. Believe it or not, that first string is burnt. The wind's coming in now. It's really blowing my fire. We've got a good amount of fire going. Okay, wind slacking up a little bit. Second and third string are on fire. Second and third string have burned. We've got a good roaring fire going on now. I'm starting to hear some hissing coming out of the bottle. If that wind changes in direction at all, just stand by. The camera's going to move. Top string is still in place even though it's scorched. That third string, which was the last one to burn, was at knee height also. So I just walked up to my stakes and tied it with me kneeling flat on the ground, with my foot flat on the ground at the level of the top of my knee. Okay, we have a boil going on in the bottle. I'll zoom you in. It's a good boil. It's not quite what I would call a rolling boil as of yet. And also, we haven't managed any of our firewood at all. We haven't rearranged it around. All we did was just pull that over on top. So we could probably help that out a little bit by gathering that material in a little. But for the purposes of this test, we're just going to leave it alone. We're starting to get some singeing now, increasing on that top string. But as soon as we did that, the wind kicked up and started blowing our flame away from it once again. And we're at the point now where we're getting some pretty good boiling going on in the bottle. We still have quite a bit of material burning well away from the bottle too. There we go. That you can see that could be pushed in there, and I think we could increase the heat on that bottle a little bit. But like I said, for the purposes of this test, we're just going to leave it alone on this burn. Okay, our top string has burned, and so that's good. We've had all 4 strings, with the top one of course being last. And I would call that a rolling boil. About 1 second is all you can hold your hand, or I can hold my hand over top of that at this point. I'm going to let the camera roll for a minute, and we'll see how that boil increases or decreases. And here comes our wind again, and a little sprinkle of rain. Alright, excuse me, I'm going to have to cover the camera to shield it from the rain that's coming in. It looks to me as though the boil rate is increasing substantially, and we're starting to get some splashing of water actually coming out of the bottle. Okay, that's a very strong boil, I think, from anyone's standards. But until the rain gets harder, I'm going to just let that go for a minute. Nothing like standing watching water boil. It's funny, we're down to just coals, very little open flame at this point, but our boil rate is steadily increasing. But I think that's about enough of that. We've determined what we need. Alright guys, thanks for joining me for this little boil test, string evaluation test. I've got to get inside. The rain is here. So until next time, I'm Tim Langston with Red Dog Bushcraft, home of global safety and survival. God bless.